All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin here on this Wednesday, June 28, 2023. Damn, almost 4th of July weekend already.
It's crazy how fast it got here, huh?
Oh, yeah. How's it going, Jay?
Hey, it is going well, man. It is going well, man. And hopefully by this afternoon, when I get my truck back from being fixed, I will not be $1,000 poor, maybe just $800 poor. So we'll see how it goes. But so far, everything's going well, man. Other than my Astros did take a loss last night. Oh, sons of bitch. Can't win for losing, Gonzo. Can't win for losing. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I picked the Cardinals, and I told you why I picked the Cardinals. I thought it would be a one-run game, and I had the Cardinals as long as they didn't lose by 2. And then the Cardinals end up winning the game anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
sure did, man. They sure did.
But then Frankie's Astros screwed me against Oakland because they got beat, or Yankees. I mean, not Astros. Yankees.
Yeah,
Yankees got beat 2-1.
I know. I saw that. I was like, damn, the A's beat the Yankees. I mean, because not to say that we should have been beating the damn Cardinals, because Cardinals got a losing record too. But honestly, I think the A's are the worst team in the whole damn league. Is there? No, that's okay. Hey, do you think there's a team worse than the A's? If so, then good, because I hate saying that our division has the worst team in baseball.
I'd put the Royals pretty close to being about as bad as the A's.
Would you put them worse or tied?
Oh man, it's a tough one because
I can see it being tough.
Okay, I would say Oakland's a little bit worse just because of this. Oakland is hitting 220 as a team, the Athletics are, and they have a 6.08 team ERA. The Royals are hitting 234 as a team and have a 5.21 ERA. So if you go by the Royals are hitting a little bit better and have a little bit better pitching. So I'd have to go with the Athletics, but the Royals aren't very good either.
Hey. Hey, I mean, Dustin says the Royals are the worst, but truthfully, let's just agree on this. When you get to that level of disparity, I don't think it really matters at that point. You know what I mean? Does it really matter? I mean, when you're that bad, does it? It's like, damn, hey, I don't care if I'm the best. Just don't let me be the worst.
I can tell you a team that didn't lose last night and got off a 3-game losing streak. What happened? Where did he go? All right, I guess Jay decided that he was leaving for some reason. So I'm sure he'll be back here in a minute. But no, we were talking about the baseball. I gave out picks on Easy Money, the sports betting show, which is right after this show, and I took the Cardinals actually against the Astros last night. I did have the Yankees over the Athletics, but then the Reds, I had them at the +1.5 against the Orioles, and it looks like Jay's coming back. I don't know what he done.
I'm still here. Don't ask me what happened. The whole screen went blank, and I'm like, what the hell?
But no, I can tell you one team that broke a 3-game losing streak last night and didn't lose, and that's my Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, you know what? And I was glad, honestly. Hey, seriously, because I told myself, I was like, damn, if the Astros are going to lose, just let the Yankees lose and let Baltimore lose, so I don't lose ground on that half game out of the wild card. So at least you took care of me, Gonzo. Thank you.
Well, I told you yesterday I thought we had a good chance because of the pitcher we had on the mound with Abbott, and Abbott had another solid start. He went 6 innings. I think gave up 3 or 4 hits. Only gave up 1 run. got his 4th win. He started 5 games for the Reds this year. The Reds have won all 5 games he started, but in 4 of those games he actually got the win as well. So he's won 4 of his first 5 starts.
Man, I'm telling you. And, hey, I was telling you earlier, man, how much I like this kid, man. He's really good.
So and then the bullpen came in, was able to hold him. So we won 2-1 last night. Hopefully we can pick up a win today and win the series. But yeah, it was a good game. It was a fun game to watch. Other than there was an hour and a half damn rain delay. Right as they were getting ready to start the 8th inning, it went to a rain delay. So I had to wait an hour and a half for them to play the last 2 innings. But
man, I'm telling you, those rain delays suck.
That's the second time they've had one in Baltimore over these games. But hell, Baltimore, it can rain whenever there. So
right. Man, I just sometimes you can go into that rain delay and you'll be playing great, and you come out of that rain delay or go back. You'll go into the rain delay, come back, and then it's just like you're a different team. You know, like that momentum just shifts.
Oh yeah, it can, but luckily it didn't last night. So
hell yeah,
it didn't last night. So hopefully we get. Hopefully we're gonna play another good game today. I'm gonna watch it later. But there's been some good baseball heading into the All-Star break here in just a little over a week now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, that's another thing. I just can't believe how close we are to the All-Star break, man. It's just like I just feel like the season has gone by super, super quick.
I don't know if it's went by super quick, but I do feel like it does feel like we got here kind of quick. But I think some of that's because now baseball's the only thing that's on.
Well, that's true too. I mean, that's all we're really focusing on.
Yeah, before that you had still had other sports on. Now, other than you have some soccer and you have don't get me wrong, you have racing and stuff like that as well. But
right,
you don't have as many as live sports during the week because like racing is usually most of the time on the weekends. Soccer,
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure when all they play. I need to start following that more, but
not to go into a sad moment of the show, but I don't know if you saw it in news today, but speaking of racing and NASCAR, Jimmy Johnson, his wife, her parents were found dead, and her nephew was found dead, and they believe that Jimmy Johnson's wife's mother shot her husband, shot the nephew, and then shot herself. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. And I was reading the article on it, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" It was crazy.
I hadn't seen that. I haven't read a whole lot of stuff this morning. To be honest with you, I've been feeling a little rough today, so I hadn't.
I think I actually read this one last night. I was just up doing whatever, and I was thumbing through ESPN, and I came across that article. And at first, it just said JJ's parents or JJ's mother-in-law and father-in-law found dead. And the first thing that came to my mind was JJ Watt, and I was like, "What?" And then I clicked on it. It wound up being Jimmy Johnson, and I'm like, "Damn!" And I guess these kids, they were out in Oklahoma. I guess he's from the Oklahoma area, but. I don't know, man. It's a crazy world that we live in, man. I tell you.
Yep, it can be.
Wow, it says a handful of NFL players. Did you see? I don't know if you saw this. A handful of NFL players, including Colts Isaiah Rodgers, are expected to receive season-long ban suspensions this week for violating the NFL's policy on gambling, according to Adam Scheffler.
I hadn't seen that, but I figured Rodgers was at least gone for the season. Hell, he might be gone forever.
Yeah, this literally just came out right now. It was breaking news on ESPN, and he was the main one named. I don't see the other players that were named in it, but I'd be curious to find out who's going to wind up being on that ban list.
Yeah, like I said, Rodgers, I knew was going to be out at least a year, but he might be. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he might not be out even longer, depending on because they say he was betting on the Colts, and I don't know if it was betting on for the Colts to win or against the Colts. So I mean, it actually came out that he was betting on the team as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he don't even get longer than just a year. But how's it going? How's it going, Frankie? And also, how's it going, Rob?
What's happening? You. What is
Rob.
Gucci with everyone's? Let me shut my mouth right there before I finish what I wanted to say.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Frankie, man. How y'all doing, brothers?
I'm not doing so well. No, I'm not doing so well. I'm really not. I spent all night. I waited up until 9:40 just to see my boys lose to Oakland 2-1.
Hey, listen. Hey, you know what? That's the only constant surprise I had. I only had to wait to 6:45 to see my Astros lose to St. Louis, but I still feel sad.
Frankie, it pissed me off too, because I picked the Yankees to beat the Athletics in one of my picks I gave out, and then they lose 2-1.
It makes no sense. Like I told you guys before, like, we're not doing any hittings and shit, but it's like we were hitting yesterday, getting men on base, getting them, second base and scoring position. And then, these Giancarlo Stanton, I don't know how many times I can hate this man. I don't know how many times I tell you guys I hate this man. I've hated this man for 3 years in a row now. Jay is my witness. The last 2 years the last 2 seasons that I have known Jay in baseball, anything that comes out of my mouth is the Yankees need to get rid of Stanton. And yet they still think that this man is going to do something. Like, no, he's garbage. Every time he comes up to the plate to bat, I'm just like, well, here goes our shot. We're done.
I don't even watch baseball like. I don't even watch baseball like that, and I know Frankie hate that man.
Yep, but he also kind of hates Joey Gallo before they got rid of him in that same way. He liked Joey Gallo at the beginning, but then about week 2, I think it was, of the Gallo, Frankie was like, "Get this guy out of here."
Cause when you're a fan of the sport, Jay's a huge fan, Chris is a huge fan, Dustin's a huge fan. Like when we're huge fans, we know, like, yes, these guys come on our team and they show out for like the first few games, but then when it takes like after them like showing out, and then it takes about like 2, 3, maybe 4 games tops of them not being able to do what they did before, we already know like this person's not going to be good in the future with our organization. So it's like,
I will say, hey, Frankie, I do remember when y'all first got Giancarlo, man, you were like over the moon.
I was excited.
It didn't take long though for being over the moon to being in the bottom of the dumpster.
When this man came to the New York Yankees, man, he was batting so well. The man was hitting about like 50 homers a season. Like he was absolutely stunning. And then he does well the first year with the Yankees. He does really well with the first year with the Yankees. Then the next year he gets injured. Okay, we accept it. The next year after that, he plays, gets injured. The next year after that, he plays, get injured, come back, he's shitty. It's like a common rotation now. And he's getting older with the old bones and stuff. It's like, why are we still even wasting our breath with this guy? Like, trade this man away and get some. I'm pretty sure there's a team out there that's so dumb enough to trade for Giancarlo Stanton to give someone good enough.
Right.
Yeah. This season was he doing better before Judge got hurt?
He was. All right, so it wasn't even before Judge got hurt, Chris. It was before he got hurt, because he did get hurt. He did get hurt in the beginning of the season. I was just wondering. And before he got hurt, Chris, this man was batting.
Maybe teams were. Oh, go ahead. Spawn back.
No. I was just gonna say, like, before he got hurt, the man was batting at like a .237. He had already hit about 4 home runs, or 3 home runs at that time. He brought in like double digits of RBIs already. Like, he was doing his thing. Then he got hurt, and I'm like, shit, here we go. Typical Stanton. Another year of Stanton's bullshit. And then he comes back against the Dodgers, and when he comes back, he hits a home run. Like, okay, yeah, congratulations. It's Dodger Stadium. That's the one place he loves to play at, and he loves to hit home runs. And I accepted it. But since that moment, from that last home run he's hit, guys, this dude, and I saw the stats yesterday, this dude is batting a .091, 21 strikeouts, I think it was 2 RBIs and 1 home run. That's it. And that's 17 games coming out of IR.
See, I was wondering if maybe it was the way teams were pitching him since they didn't have to worry about Judge. But if he's hitting that bad, it's more than just that.
Yeah, it's way more than he's swinging at everything, Chris. He's swinging at sliders outside the plate, thinking he's gonna hit it. What is wrong with you? The dude last night, right? It's 8th inning. It's the top of the 8th inning. We have a runner on second. We have a runner on first. Here comes Giancarlo Stanton. I'm already pissed. I looked at my wife and I said, if this man somehow, some way, this is how upset I am, and this is how much I hate him. If he was to hit a home run and give us a 3-run home run there, I would have been so mad that I would have took my Yankees jersey off because I don't expect this man to do it. If he would have done it, I would have been upset. Inside, I would have been happy because the Yankees would have ended up winning, but I would have been upset that this man did it. Like, literally, like, that's how much I hate Giancarlo Stanton now. Like, if he gets a home run, I don't celebrate for that shit anymore. I really don't. And it's like, you come up at the top of the 8th, runner in first, runner in second, 2 outs, and then you get a 3-0 lead, 3-ball, 0-strike lead, and somehow, some way, you end up getting struck out. You end up getting struck out after having a 3-0 lead.
I don't think it's strucken. I think it's just struck out.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Don't correct me when I'm talking shit about Giancarlo Stanton.
We also got Stat
Man, I feel you though, Frank. Hey, Frank, I feel you. Look, you know how many times I saw hope. Look, you know how many times last night Astros had men on second and third, and we couldn't get those people in. I think Abreu was one that let us down. I was so mad, man. We had a lot of opportunities to win that damn game yesterday, and we had men in scoring position and just left them there. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, I was angry. I was so angry. Oh, by the way,
I enjoyed the Reds game last night, other than an hour and a half rain delay. We also have a Stat Guy joining us. How's it going, Stat Guy?
It's going, guys. How are you?
And then we also have Mike Hughes. Hey, Jay, I'll be right back.
All right, you're good. Oh, Stat, Mike, where you at? Are you out there at work?
Yo, I don't know where he's at, but he's indoors this time.
You're muted.
Yeah, no volume because he's muted. But I see. Oh, he's at the game. That's what's up.
Oh yeah, he's at the Chicago Sky game. He's probably watching them lose right now. Yep, he's watching them lose.
He sent me a message, said he was at the Sky game, but he was going to try to pop on if he could. But go ahead, Jay. If you could.
No, I got you. You go ahead and take care of your business. I got you. Hey, I'm not going to shift off baseball. We're still going to talk more baseball, but I did see this, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion on this. Man, Tennessee State making historical announcement. Tennessee State is going to be the first HBCU to initiate a hockey program. That's pretty crazy. That's big news. That is big news. What do you think now? And we can go around the horn, Stat Guy, man. We'll go counterclockwise to Rob and Frankie. What do you think about this, man? I mean, that's pretty big, right?
I mean, it is big, but now the question is, who are they going to play? Because
that's a damn good question.
There's not too many programs down south that have a hockey team for college. There's not too many smaller schools that have a hockey program in college because, I mean, Tennessee State is a smaller Division I program. They're not one of the big premier programs. When you look at the landscape, I don't think there's any SEC team that has a program. The only ACC team that has a program, I believe, is Notre Dame, and they technically play in the Big Ten for hockey, so they don't even have, like, hockey teams out there. So what are they playing?
I got to figure that somehow or another, even though it may not be in their specific division, whatever, maybe they play out of divisional teams. You know, maybe they go north and play teams up north that have hockey programs. I mean, it's obviously it's not a realignment, but maybe that's how they get their games is by going north. What are you thinking on that?
I just want to know what they're going to do for a schedule. I want to know if they're going to do kind of the Notre Dame approach, how they do it for football, where the first couple of years they're just going to have like an independent schedule where they can schedule what they want to schedule, see how the program does, and then kind of reassess it in 3 years to see if they actually want to join a conference.
Because that's almost how they'd have to do it. They'd almost have to be an independent. At least in that league, be independent, like you said, so they can get games outside of where they need to go. But, Rob, you know, in a league that historically really does not have an African-American presence, number one, what do you think this does for that? And number two, you know, do you see the popularity now of hockey slowly start to maybe become more credible?
I mean, in the words of DJ Khaled, in one of his great songs that I love to listen to, "We taking over." But nah, I'm just, but nah. I honestly though, I don't. I think there's always been a curiosity with hockey. I think with most of the African American community, could be wrong. It's the fighting. That's what got me watching a little bit of hockey. I don't watch hockey much, but I do catch it probably more than I catch baseball. Um, I would say if we start to see it on a professional level, you will start to see more African American fans. But let's see what Tennessee does. I mean, it always starts with one, and then
Oh,
it
absolutely.
becomes a small snowball running down the hill. By the time you get down the hill, you got Frosty the Snowman. So let's
hey, but that's true though. That's very true. And,
so let's see if they
yeah.
can be the trendsetters to get more of a African American presence in the hockey community.
And that really is it, man. I think that's that's one of the things that has prevented hockey from really becoming more of a mainstream, type of sport is the lack of African American population. I mean, it just you need everybody to really promote the sport, and that's and like Dustin said, maybe HBCU comes out, Tennessee State comes out, and they're not the best or maybe they're slow, whatever. But it doesn't matter. Just the fact that this is season one. You got to imagine at some point this is going to grow bigger. And when it grows bigger, that's when it gets better. And when it gets better, it's going to be ultimately a great thing, I think, ultimately for hockey. And I think hockey is going to finally, once that presence kind of mixes in well, is going to be huge for that sport in terms of its popularity, revenue growth, things like that. And I think maybe we'll see more cities get into hockey in terms of bringing an NHL team in. Specifically, maybe Atlanta. Maybe they can come back to Atlanta, which has a large African American population, where they left because maybe they weren't getting the support they needed. Frankie, what do you think about this, man? This Tennessee State get an HBCU program or a hockey program? I'm sorry, man. Frankie's probably.
I will also say this too, Jay. From a financial standpoint, it allows more students to get scholarship money
Oh, of
because
course.
maybe that might just be what you're into. I'm starting to find out, man. It's a lot of African American athletes that are not just your typical football, basketball players. We see a strong African American presence in golf now.
Right.
Especially with the professionals like Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley. Of course, the Tiger Woods presence. But now we're starting to see it become more of a popularity thing. I mean, even I was just at Top Golf not too long ago, and you see a lot of people that look like me into this sport, and I think hopefully it could be a trickle down effect. Hopefully it can get hockey strong in our community, and then hopefully it can get baseball strong in our community. I think the one thing that saved baseball is the strong presence in the Spanish community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it can only get stronger if you add us as viewers as well.
And again, that's the thing, right? Any sport, if it's going to grow, has to be appealing to all of the masses, not just maybe one specific section, right? I mean, because then you're more of in a niche market. NBA appeals to everybody, right? Football, appeals to everybody. Baseball kind of is getting into that a little bit. Golf has kind of missed the mark for a while now, but I think golf is kind of getting back in there. I think thanks to Tiger Woods, more people are getting into that segment. And now, like I said, when you get a school like Tennessee State, that could be the catalyst that gets people more involved into hockey, like you said, scholarships, things like that. And that's what it takes a lot of times. A lot of times people aren't interested in sports, maybe because it's not readily available around them, or whatever. So now they're starting to see the game from a different perspective. What do you think, Frankie?
Yeah, I'm chilling. What's up?
I'm chilling.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna be real with you though. Like, this is really good for the state of Tennessee. Having a new sport and stuff like that. But I'm still learning NHL right now. Honestly, I'm still learning NHL. So I'm gonna let you and Dustin say what you had to say about it. And I'm just gonna agree with you both. How about that? I'll just agree with what you guys said. But I'm chilling right now, Jay. I'm chilling.
Man, you know about as much about hockey as I know about hockey. What are you talking about? We're both learning. The only one that's a resident expert probably on hockey is Dustin. He's like the only residential expert. So Dustin, let me turn it back to you then, man, before we move on to another topic, man. Now that obviously Tennessee State's gotten into it, do you start to see more ethnicities gravitate to the sport of hockey, which hopefully will then propel the popularity of it?
I don't, because hockey's an expensive sport.
It is. Well, hell, baseball's expensive.
Even if you want to add scholarships to Tennessee State for having the hockey program, you add hockey scholarships to the athletic department, you're taking scholarships away from other sports. Because smaller schools like that only get a certain amount of scholarships that they can divvy out across the entire athletic landscape. So if you have 45, 50 scholarships that you can divide out, now you're offering 6 or 7 to hockey. That takes the 50 that you have available to give out on your other sports down to 43. And Tennessee State's known for basketball. Tennessee State's known for baseball, and they're also known for football and the FCS side of things. I don't think they want to risk losing scholarships from the sports that actually bring in the money, because even if they have a good hockey program, football and basketball is where that athletic department makes their money. And they're not going to risk losing money from those programs by eliminating scholarships where they could get potential people into those programs that can give them money.
Unless boosters, because of popularity of them being the first HBCU, sometimes publicity generates revenue. And who's to say that other boosters won't come over there and want to promote, and scholarship monies to get this type of thing going? You're not going to grow if you don't dive into all things, right? Because again, publicity is a great thing, and it can be a great generator of money. So I hear your point, but I also think that it could generate money for them on the other side of it.
Yeah, it can be, but the problem with HBCU schools and a lot of these all-black colleges is, boosters or not, they can only raise a certain amount of money each year. They can't get infinite funding like a Duke University. They can't get infinite funding like Wisconsin, like Florida, like Tennessee, or like these other big programs where you could have a booster come in and be like, I'll donate $1 million to the athletics program. They have a set budget that they can donate every single year. So even if you have 5 boosters that want to come in and donate, if there's an $80,000 cap on what they can donate, if one donor donates $70,000, the other 4 donors can only donate $10,000. So that's really not going to do.
That's a good point. That makes a good point. What about NIL though? Does hockey in colleges, do they utilize, I'm assuming, the NIL just like all the other sports are doing? Then couldn't that be an avenue?
I mean, the only 2 sports that really use the NIL is basketball and football, because those are the 2 money-making sports. Those are the 2 sports that generate roughly 75 to 80% of a college athletic department's yearly financial backing. You get about 10 to 15% NIL funds for baseball if you have a good baseball or softball program. Hockey is so different just because when you look at the NHL landscape, I would say 75 to 80% of the NHL is foreign-born players. They come from Europe, they come from Sweden, they come from other side of the world that get drafted to the NHL, and 90% of the time the players that get drafted from overseas don't go to college. They immediately go to the AHL, they immediately go to the EHL, which is the minor league system of these programs, spend 2 or 3 years there, and then they're in the NHL. The kids that, if you've ever watched the NFL draft, kids that get drafted in the NHL, that get drafted in high school, that are signed by these NHL teams, still go to college for 1 year. And then after that first year, then they're in the minor league system. So if you're going to college for 1 year, no school's going to utilize any NIL funds on you if you're only going to be there for 1 year.
Yeah, I think that Connor Bedard is a good example of that. He's 17 years old, and he's already played in the Western Conference or the Western Hockey League.
Yep.
Now he's playing in the Canadian Hockey League, and of course now he's going to be drafted in NHL.
I believe he's committed to either Michigan or Notre Dame for college for hockey, if I remember correctly. So if the Blackhawks take him number 1 tonight, which they most likely will, he's got the option to go play 1 year of college hockey for Notre Dame and then enter the Blackhawks system, or he can enter the Blackhawks system right away and just go to the AHL program and work his way up.
And I know, like here in Indiana, like IU, for example, Indiana Hoosiers, there with their NIL, there's actually some of the wrestling team that has NIL deals, but they're not as big as like NIL deals as you get for like football, basketball.
Yeah, you're looking at $250,000 to $500,000 NIL deals for basketball and football. Wrestling, you might get $20,000.
Yeah, they're a lot less for wrestling because they don't bring in the money. Because like IU, you can go watch a wrestling meet for free. They don't even charge you to get into to the wrestling meet because they're just trying to get people there to watch it.
So Chris and Stat Guys, since you guys are more the residential guys, Bedard, I know he's 17. Does he have to go play in a minor league system? Or because I know you said he's not going to go straight to the Blackhawks. So is that because of his age, or is it like does he have to still do time in the minors before he can get promoted up?
It has nothing to do with his age or anything like that. I don't think there's ever been a hockey player that's been drafted, whether it's been out of high school, whether it's been out of college, or whether they came from Europe, that has gone directly from that draft right to the NHL.
And this is where I think me and Frankie are still kind of learning, because I know baseball. I'm saying I know baseball has a minor league system. You have to go to the minor leagues and then you go straight to the show. I'm assuming from what you're saying, NHL works the same way. You got to go to the minors after you're drafted, and then
I think it's up to the organization, isn't it, Stat Guy? It's up to the organization and the player, but you just don't see it very often where a player goes straight up without playing in the minors.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar to kind of how Major League Baseball treats their players when they get drafted. You have that minor league system where you have 4 levels as opposed to the NHL. It's 2 levels, but it's what minor league level they go to. Because sometimes you see players that get drafted go to the rookie league, and then you have a situation with Steven Strasburg back when he was drafted in 2010. The Nationals put him in AA. Like the day after he was drafted, he spent a week in AA. They shot him up to AAA, and then he was in the majors the next year. So it all depends on how that system views you and where they want to put you.
And Jay, like I know baseball, even with baseball, like here in Muncie at Ball State University, they're a smaller college, MAC school. You can go watch their baseball games for free as well because they're just trying to get fans there watching.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't even charge you to get in, and they're getting. We just got Ball State University just got a golf commit named Happy Gilmore, and I know we
were talking about the other day, and I thought they were making that up.
He's going to get a pretty good. He's going to get a pretty good NIL deal just because companies will jump on that because of the name.
Real quick, hey, can you put that one comment by John Suggs back up? Because I did want to ask Stat Guy about that. We're talking about funding for these HBCUs and how would they make it happen. But John makes a good point. He says, imagine a company that takes a risk on the first HBCU for a hockey. I mean, you're talking about companies that have a lot of money, and they use it as a tax write-off, and it's great publicity and marketing for them. I mean, could that possibly be avenues for Tennessee State?
I think it could be, but you got to remember, even with Jackson State, for example, when Deion Sanders went there, Deion Sanders used a bunch of his own money to improve the facilities and stuff because they didn't have it and couldn't get the boosters or the NIL deals enough to do it. So he used a lot of his own money to redo their facilities because their facilities were so bad.
I had one other question for you, Gonza. I mean, you had brought up just now about the Happy Gilmore. My question is, if you had the same name as a movie, is there like any kind of copyright infringements on either one of those sides when he tries to go and market, advertise, all this kind of stuff he's going to do? Is there going to be marketing issues with that because of maybe copyright? I don't know. How does that work?
Jay, who names their kid Happy Gilmore? It's a reason why it's in a movie.
Hey, listen, man, I'm just saying the name of the movie, though, is called Happy Gilmore. I'm just saying, would it be a copyright infringement if the dude tries to go out and get advertisement dollars, but yet he's using the name of a movie that's copyrighted?
I don't know like the exact rules, but I would say not, just because Adam Sandler has actually reached out to the kid and wished him luck and stuff. His real name is Landon, but he's been going by Happy since he was 5 years old when he first started golfing, and that's the name he goes by. But his legal name.
Oh, damn, y'all didn't say that last night. I thought the man's real name was Happy. I thought his real first name was Happy, not Landon.
I mean, it basically is. That's what he goes by. That's what everybody calls him. That's what he committed to Ball State as, was Happy Gilmore, not like.
No, okay. I mean, hey, I'm with you. I just thought his real name was like on the birth
certificate. To answer your question, Jay, to answer your question too from before, only 14% of foreign-born NHL players have gone directly from the draft to the NHL, and only 4% of high school players have ever made that jump. But the last high school player making that jump is Bobby Carpenter back in 1981.
Wow.
He was the last high school player that was drafted to go directly to the pros, and he was drafted number 3 overall by the Capitals.
And the only reason I'm asking you that, too, because with Connor Bedard, I mean, he's going to go number 1, first of all. Number 2, his resume at every stop that he's been at has been impeccable. I mean, we're talking about MVPs, top prospects, players of the year by different organizations. I mean, his resume is a mile long. That's why I was curious as to why he wouldn't maybe go straight to the NHL.
The answer is simple. He's a 17-year-old, 5 foot, 170 pounder.
Oh, he's 5'10". Don't take that 10 inches away.
You throw a 170 pounder in an NHL rink against some of these 240 pound defensemen, kid's gonna get his head knocked clean off.
Well, they call it hockey.
So he needs to at least go to the minors, even if it's for a couple months, just to get some weight on that body. Because
I think you take him and Wembanyama, throw them both at a fat man's camp, let them eat their way up, and let's go.
I mean,
6 months. I need you to eat X amount of calories of protein per day. Let's go.
You'd have to throw Wembanyama at Epcot at Disney and tell him to eat the entire thing at Epcot.
Or just put him on the Zion Williams program, and he'll be good.
He still wouldn't gain weight. He's 7'5".
Throw him down there in Louisiana. Let him eat those beignets. That dude will bulk up quick.
Yeah, not to mention his metabolism is probably crazy fast.
Oh God, yeah, it is.
And the reason why I don't see Bedard going straight to the pros is because the Blackhawks just traded for Taylor Hall, who was a former.
Yeah, I saw that. I did. I saw what you were when they made that trade. I noticed that.
Number 1 pick. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Hall is kind of that grace period where, granted, he's not as good as what Connor Bedard is at this point, but at least Hall is still at the forward position until Bedard's ready to come up.
I think I'm gonna take off, y'all, because I think today's segment is the not so Rob sports segment.
Rob, we just trying to get you integrated, baby. We're trying to integrate you.
I'm a specialist. I talk about what I know.
Hey, man, we just trying to bring you in the fold, baby.
There's NBA we could talk about. You got free agency starting Friday. We got free agency starting on Friday for NBA. Wembanyama is going to be playing in the summer league for the Spurs. How much do you think he'll play there?
He might actually play a lot now that Greg Popovich's not there. You want to see what he can do. I think one of the things that coaches do that's a huge mistake is not allow your players to play. Right. You're going to be playing against other draft prospects. You're going to be playing against G Leaguers. You're going to be playing against guys overseas. Everybody trying to get that NBA contract. I think that's the best level of competition before the actual league. So if I'm his coach, I want you to go out there and play. I want you to go out there and dominate and show people what you're in store for the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would have been a mistake if he'd have gone overseas. I think he definitely needed to be at that summer league, like Rob said, going against guys that are trying to make that NBA contract because they're going to be hungry. I mean, they're going to be hungry trying to get into that team.
But my thing is, Jay, don't do them no good to stay if they're not going to play him. If they're just going to play him a little bit because they're afraid of getting him hurt or something, there wasn't no reason for him to stay for the summer league.
Well, that's true, but hell, he can go back overseas and get hurt. I mean, but I understand what you're saying. Overseas, they're going to play him, which over here, maybe they are limited, but I don't think they should limit him. I think that's crazy if they limit him. They need to let this man get some, NBA caliber, experience before he actually gets into the season. Because you can't protect him once the season starts.
He'll play 2 games in the summer league, and that's it. The main goal of getting him to the summer league is so he can work out with the team and kind of get on the team's off-season workout program. That's the main reason why they want him there. It's more so just to get him there with the team, get him to build some of that team chemistry for the preseason, and then you just get him 2 games right out the gate in Vegas, see what he's got, and then it's like, okay, fine, we know what you can do. We're just sitting down the last couple weeks.
All that man needs to get in chemistry with is 4 big briskets. Put some brisket down the throat and put on some weight. He'll be all right.
I'll tell you one thing: they need to work with their PR team, because there's no way they should have been putting out a video where he's missing more shots than he was.
Yeah,
making.
I saw that. I saw where Frankie
that was
posted
stupid.
that.
That was stupid. I mean, I
That
get
was
it
so
that
stupid.
you want to show people the real aspect,
Hey,
but also
I'm
too,
still
you want to
standing by
build
what
up
I
your
said.
top guy.
I'm still standing by what I said when he was drafted.
What's that?
He's
He's
not
gonna be a bust.
He's not going to be as good as what people think he's going to be. And I'm still standing by what I said.
I said that same thing way before he
I
got
said
drafted.
I said the same thing with Chet Holmgren last year. Granted, Chet Holmgren is hurt, so I'm going to give him a pass on last year because he was hurt. But going into that draft last year, I said all along that Paolo Banchero should be the #1 overall pick in that draft. Over
I think it's pronounced Banchero. Frankie corrected me on that a while back.
I am a Duke fan. It is pronounced Banchero.
I think it's Banchero. Frankie, as a resident Hispanic person, could you please enlighten us?
I mean, you call him Banchero, and it's like it sounds like a food. Like you're getting a churro from the concession stand or the Mexican.
But I was not sold on Chet Holmgren last year, and I'm still not. Granted, like I said, I'm giving him a pass because he got hurt, but I don't think Chet Holmgren's going to be anything special either. When you're 7'1", 7'2", and in Victor's case 7'4", and you have a body type the way their body type is, you're not going to last in this league. You're just not. I don't care how much time you spend in the weight room. Victor literally has to put on 70 to 75 pounds of muscle to make his body even look respectable in this league. Same thing with Chet Holmgren. He has to put on a minimum 45 to 55 pounds of muscle to make his body look respectable for that 7'2" frame.
I don't.
And when they do put that kind of weight on, rather quickly or however, what effect will that have on their knees or their feet?
If to put that much weight on that quickly, it's going to give you the Greg Oden effect.
That's what I worry about. Is it going to ruin them putting weight on so quickly?
I don't think Wembanyama needs to put on 70 pounds. A lot of people said the same thing about Kevin Durant. His frame, he's never going to be able to play. Wembanyama, he can play on the outside. He don't have to be down banging the whole time. I think he needs to put on a little bit, but I don't think he has to put on 70 or 75 pounds. I think that'd be too much.
If he can get like an AD type build, and I know it's crazy to bring up AD because that dude's
if you want to have an 80 type build, that's still 55 pounds of muscle because 80 weighs 245 pounds. Victor Wembanyama is 175. That is still over 60 pounds of muscle to have that kind of a build.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's only 30 pounds bigger than Mayweather.
This man lives in San Antonio now. All right, this man about
That's
to
true.
build up. He about to build up.
Hey, he about to be at the barbecue shack.
Yeah, according to Charles Barkley, that's where all the big girls at. So,
hey, this man about to be eating everything. Trust me. One thing about Texas, they got a lot of food down there. He'll be at the Tex-Mex joints eating all those fajitas. Oh yeah, he'll be all right.
Not only that, this man he's being led by like Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, all the past Spurs players that were big men and stuff. They all came together with Victor. You're not going to tell me that all these big men were like, all right, yo, Victor, you're not in France no more, brother. You're in San Antonio. You're going to have to eat some barbecue. You're going to have to hit the weight room if you need help by your side. Like, we'll train you. We'll show you the ropes of how being a big man in San Antonio works out. We'll tell you what Greg Popovich is expecting of you and what he wants out of a big man. I know all these guys from the past got with him and talked to him about it. And I know Victor is probably out there, he's going to do it right now. Obviously he can't because he's like the #1 draft pick and, being so good in overseas and stuff like that. He's being too famed right now. But when he has his time, I expect Victor to do what he's got to do. And I think he knows what he has to do.
Frankie, he's going to go order a tamale and a banchurro.
Hey, you can't go wrong with tamales.
He's going to get a banchurro. Oh, man. Hey, but all seriously, though, I think David Robinson, like if I'm him, I'm talking to Tim Duncan, I'm talking to David Robinson. As Frankie mentioned, I'm talking to the bigs in the past. I think the one saving grace for Wembanyama is that the league is not built on a traditional big man anymore. that you have a lot of big men that are spacing the floor, and he won't have to bang too much until he's playing like a Joker or an Embiid, guys who do like to go down in the post and bang a little bit. So I think he'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. I don't know if he'll be the saving grace that San Antonio is hoping he's going to be, but I think if you can build around that and bring in a couple of more pieces, San Antonio can get back to the good graces that they once were at.
Yeah, I
After
agree.
what
I
I've
think it might.
seen, oh, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I agree with what Rob said, but I do think it might take him a couple of years because that'll give him time to work on his body. I don't know if he's going to come right in this season and just and make as big as impact as people think. But
I
what were you
agree.
going to say, Frankie?
What I was gonna say is, after what I've seen, this man has to obviously work on his shooting skills. I mean, I don't. I've never seen a man over 7 feet try and make some shots. People were trying to tell me like, oh, well, he was just doing it for the media because they were there taking pictures for him and stuff like that. It don't matter. You got cameras behind you that were recording, and you took 5 shots and missed all 5 of them, and you said, "The hell with that! I'm gonna just decide to do a layup since I'm 7'3". This is real easy for me." I mean, the man needs to work on his shots if the Spurs are expecting this man to shoot like he did in France.
Yeah, he was looking real Ben Simmons out there, wasn't
He was looking worse than Benson. He was looking like Russell Westbrook out there.
he?
Westbrook.
I'm
Ben
excited
Simmons.
though. I think I'm more excited too with as Chris alluded to earlier, free agency happening this Friday. We hear a lot of talks with where's Damian Lillard gonna go? The Lakers, big conversation on who they're gonna be bringing in to help LeBron and AD.
And what
So
do you know?
I'm excited.
The main reason why I don't think Wembanyama is going to pan out, and it's the main reason why he's struggling when it came to shooting. An international basketball is 3 centimeters smaller than an NBA basketball.
Hmm.
So he's used to shooting a smaller basketball. Granted, 3 centimeters may not seem like a lot, but when you're using a basketball that weighs between 28.5, which is the weight of a women's basketball, and between 29, it's still lighter than an NBA basketball. So he's not used to even shooting an NBA-sized basketball yet playing overseas. And that's why a lot of these international players take a couple of years to even get used to the NBA game because they're using a bigger basketball than they've used their entire career.
The hell with
Yeah,
that. I don't want to
that's
hear
a
that,
that's a
Stat. I don't
no,
want to hear
that's a
that. Nope, nope,
that's a
nope.
great
A
point because
basketball. Nope, a
if you look
basketball is a
at
basketball,
FIBA,
Rob. A
if you look at
basketball is a.
FIBA,
Oh,
no,
go
if you
ahead.
look at the FIBA, if you look at the FIBA games, it takes the NBA players a while to get
Yep,
used to
because that
shooting
ball
a
is a
FIBA
smaller,
ball.
lighter basketball.
Yeah, it does because
Excuses.
you're
Excuses.
using different strength. Like you know, with the regular standard NBA basketball, it just flicks off the wrist a little better. And I think when you're looking at players with these big size hands, trying to grab on these smaller FIBA basketballs, make sure we say basket in front of the ball. You know what I'm saying? You kind of pushing it. It's kind of in your palm instead of coming off the wrist. So I think in Wembanyama's thing, he's gotten used to playing with such a smaller basketball. Now you're coming in, you're getting the standard NBA basketball, and now it's gonna really affect the whole way he's been shooting this whole time.
Excuses.
Well, look at
Excuses.
you can use the same thing for baseball though too, Frankie. Because look at how many major league pitchers that go down to AAA for like rehab outings struggle in AAA because it's a different style baseball that they're not used to using. It's different grip, it's different material, it's a different weight. It's something that they haven't used yet. So you go from using a major league baseball, which is a different style of baseball, you use that for 6-7 years, and all of a sudden now you're getting sent down to the minors to rehab, and you have a completely different ball that you're not used to. It's not something that you can
Excuses.
master in your first couple starts out there.
Hey yo,
I
Stat
wouldn't
guy.
say it's
Excuses.
excuse.
Look, Rob. Look at me. While I'm eating a strawberry. Excuses, bro. Excuses.
Do you think that Rob? Do you think Damian Lillard is going to get traded? Is going to be moved, or do you think he ends up being with Portland for this season?
I think Portland I would say this: Portland doesn't want to let him go. They don't want to let him go, especially that's why you bring in a Chauncey Billups, you bring in a coach that you think the player can relate to, and hopefully keep him around. But I think with Damian Lillard now, it's like okay, he's probably in talk with the ownership. Like, look, I've given you guys loyalty, I've given you everything I have, and I have only played meaningful basketball once in my career in playoff time. You know what I mean? So I think he's in their ear saying if you guys are not going to make a serious push to bring in some real talent, then you need to let me go and try to win myself a championship. I do not think he will be in Portland when the season starts.
What do you think, Frankie?
I think it's all excuses, Chris. And I think the shortstop is the most important position. I think the shortstop's the most important position. I think it's all excuses. But other than that, I think Damian Lillard is dumb if he stays in Portland, honestly. I'm tired of this man giving his loyalty to Portland just for Portland to just make this man look bad. This man should be a champion by now. He should be making money. This man obviously just wants to be there for the loyalty of the people of Portland and the fan base of Portland. But let me tell you right now, Damian Lillard, if you leave Portland and these fan base people treat you differently, then these guys are absolute a-holes. I don't want to curse because I'm trying to be polite. They are absolute a-hole because you gave them everything you can, that you possibly can, in all your styles of basketball. And yet the organization of the Portland Trailblazers has shitted on you. Excuse my language, but they have. They've traded away basically everybody that was around him and filled them up with a bunch of nobodies. I mean, Portland can't, they can't do anything no more for Damian Lillard. I think Damian Lillard needs to look out for himself and decide to go elsewhere to a championship team like the Lakers.
Stat guy, what do you think?
I honestly do not feel bad for Damian Lillard anymore. I kind of put him in the same position as I put Bradley Beal a couple years ago, where you had every opportunity to leave that franchise when they kept gutting your franchise, but yet you chose to stay with Washington for loyalty, and eventually you worked your way out of it.
It wasn't for loyalty.
The same way. Lillard's been seeing this team gut every single key player that he's had the last 5, 6, 7 years. But yet he wants to stay there to be loyal to them. At some point, loyalty can only go so far. And if that organization is not willing to help you, then you owe them nothing in terms of loyalty anymore.
Let me just say this before Jay gives his thoughts.
He's about to say what I was about to say.
It's part loyalty, but it's mostly money. And I'm not mad at them for choosing. I'm not mad at them for choosing the money because Bradley Beal had $260 million worth of reasons why he stayed with Washington. But I will
would have traded for Bradley Beal, but
I will say this.
I had to pick that up.
I think
he goes.
I think Damian Lillard now understands. He can see his career lifespan getting shorter and shorter.
He understood it 3 years ago. And what did they Blazers do? They traded away C.J. McCollum.
But I think, excuse me, when it comes down to it, he's looking at how am I going to be remembered after I'm done playing this game. And he understands now that him not having any significant playoff. I mean, the only playoff moment we remember is him waving off to Paul George and Russell Westbrook after he hit that big time three. But other than that, he's taken major L's in his playoff career. And that is what's going to – like Damian Lillard should be mentioned in the same breath as Steph Curry. He should. He has amazing shooting ability. He has grit. He has toughness. He can get to the hole. He can finish in the land of the Giants. I mean, Damian Lillard is the total package when it comes to NBA players. He just doesn't have the hardware behind his name to prove it. And unfortunately, that's where him and Steph differs. Like Steph has it. Steph won before KD. Steph won after KD. Steph now has a Finals MVP. You look at Damian, it's like, dude, you don't even have a regular season MVP. You don't even have an All-Star MVP. It's like, dude, it's time to start adding up the hardware if you want a legacy to be legendary.
I mean, that's real easy. I mean, that's real easy to say when it's only one man on that team. You don't have nobody around him. Honestly, Steph Curry has people around him to make him look good.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I'm not going to take away what Steph Curry is, because Steph Curry is an absolute legend in his own making, especially with the 3-point shots and stuff like that. But Steph Curry has the people around him. He's got Draymond Green. He's had Andre Iguodala. He's had Klay Thompson. He's got Looney and stuff like that. Damian Lillard don't have nobody. He has C.J. McCollum and all that.
And
But
that's when he was at his best.
they traded him away mid-season, and Damian Lillard was probably pissed the hell off about that. I mean, if you put people around Damian Lillard the way Steph Curry's got people around him, I guarantee you, Rob, Damian Lillard would have been a regular season's MVP. He All-Star MVP. I give you that. I think they give that to just the people just to give. But I think if he had people around him, he would be a regular season MVP. He will be a champion probably at this point, at least a one-time champion at this moment if he had people around him. Hell, Derrick Rose had people around him when he started his career, and when he had people around him, that's how he became the NBA MVP, because he had people around him and made him look good, and him doing what he did. If Damian Lillard can have people around him while he's doing what he's doing, the man will be a regular season MVP and hopefully sometime, or it could have been already, champion.
That goes back to what Dustin was just talking about, though. You had a chance. You know that Portland wasn't going to bring anybody over there. Nobody really wants to go play for Portland. You had a chance 3 years ago to go where you choose, and he chose to stay. Now, I know this is a crazy saying to say, but in real life, some people are not just afraid of failure. Some people are afraid of what happens if I succeed. And some people are afraid of success. And with success comes adaptability, and with success comes change, as Chris just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he wanted to change his surrounding. He is okay, in the words of Skip Bayless, he is okay being a big fish in a small pond. He's okay with that.
And I think part of Portland's problem too is getting rid of Terry Stotts. Terry Stotts got the Blazers into the playoffs 5 straight years in 6 of his 7 years as head coach. And then his final year under his contract, they failed to make the playoffs, mainly because Damian Lillard missed 70 games that year with a foot injury, and you traded C.J. McCollum away at the deadline. How is that Terry Stotts' fault?
Hey, they fired Mike Budenholzer, and just a year ago, a couple of years ago, his team won the NBA championship. So
I still think the Bucks made a big mistake there.
You know what I'm saying?
I already told the afternoon crew yesterday why Budenholzer was fired.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with his performance. It's because he leaked out information that the Bucks did not want to be leaked out, and he was fired 24 hours after he made the comment he made.
And if that is why they fired him, it's still stupid. But Jay, what do you think about Damian Lillard? Do you think he's going to be with Portland, or you think he'll be moved somewhere else?
Just to kind of piggyback off what Rob said, people don't understand in my Jerry Maguire scene-like voice what $54 million pressure comes with. You just don't understand. You don't understand. I think, to a one point, I think he is comfortable being the big fish in a small pond. I think he's comfortable with that scene. I think if he wasn't comfortable with that scene, he would have gone someplace else. At some point, I don't feel bad for Dame. That man got so much damn money. I don't care. Dude's rich as hell. He got rich. Hey, look, he rich as hell. When he leaves the game of basketball, he got a whole life of investment opportunities and branding That man gonna be all right. But I will say this, it is sad to me because he does have so much talent. He very well could be in the same conversation as Steph Curry. If he was on a team, like you said, that had the support. C.J. McCollum left, went down there. They brought in Scoot Henderson. Maybe that gives him a little bit of confidence. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, I think you're right. His window of opportunity every year does get smaller and smaller. And if Damian is comfortable being in Portland to finish out his career, I'm not going to admonish him for being loyal if that's really what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't want him coming down the road saying, in a post-game interview, maybe on some – if he decides to be a broadcaster somewhere, if they interview him after his playing career is over with, saying, well, I wish I'd have done this, or I could have been this, or I could be, because you know what, you could have been. So don't cry over the spilt milk if your loyalty keeps you in a place where you can't get where you really wanted to go in the first place. Don't start crying after it. You own it. You own that loyalty. You own where you are. Like Charles Barkley owned where he was. You own that shit. Just own it.
Jay, I'm confused. Are you sad for the man or are you not sad for him?
Oh, I'm not sad for him at all.
All right, so
At all.
you're not sad for him.
No, when you got that kind of money, I can't be. I'm not sad. I'm elated. I'm ready to go start spending my life. But more standard, 54 million, 200 million. I mean, good God, I wish I had those issues.
Ooh, you ain't the only one, brother.
I just wish I had those issues. I don't have to be
Go play
NBA
the Mega
champion.
Million.
I'm trying, damn. You know how hard it is to win the Mega Million.
Go play the Powerball.
I'm just playing the Powerball. You know how hard it is to win the Powerball.
I ain't gonna lie. When we took our road trip to Minnesota and we was going past Wisconsin and seen a little small gas station, I say, hey, these are like the spots that people be winning at. Let's go get some tickets.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Don't your ass be taking my money up here.
Hey. I'll throw you 5 racks.
Well, what about Derrick Rose? Where we think he's going to end up at?
He's coming home. He's coming home. Tell the world that he's coming home. Hey, look, I'm not saying bringing in Derrick Rose is going to change life for the Bulls. That thought and sentiment is really for Derrick Rose alone. He deserves to retire a Bull. He brought more excitement. We hadn't experienced excitement like that in Chicago since Michael Jordan, honestly. And, to watch, injury really derail that man's career when it was just so bright and we were so optimistic about what we can do. Like, literally in Chicago during that time, everybody was like, we're a shooting guard away from winning the championship. And we thought we could have did it. When we bought in Rip Hamilton, we thought we could have did it. And he goes down against Philly in that first round, man.
Rob, we had our shooting guard. It's called Jimmy Butler, and then the front office was stupid enough to give him away.
Yeah.
Jay, are you confused as I am? Because when he says Derrick Rose is coming home, I'm confused. I don't know if he's talking about his home of the Golden State Warriors or if he's talking about Chicago Bulls.
I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls.
So you're talking about Chicago. You want him to go to Chicago. You're not talking about him going home because your home is Dumb Nation, is it not?
No, my home is wherever. My second home is wherever Steph Curry's at.
Hey, but there's also been thoughts about maybe he winds up at the point guard position with Boston. You think that happens?
Yeah, but
There's
I mean,
many teams.
He's not going to get that much tick in Boston. I don't think wherever he goes, he's going to get that much tick. I mean, unless Derrick Rose shows that he is somewhat old Derrick Rose. But, I mean, even now, he's a year older. The body has shown that it can't take that much of a beating and pounding. I think, like I said, this is really just for sentiment reasons only. I just want to see him.
Oh, absolutely. He's not going to get the bag.
I want to see him retire a Bull. He deserves it.
He can't get much less playing time than what he got with the Knicks this season.
Oh my God! I don't know. I think him and Tom Thibodeau got to it or something. I don't. Because
man, let me tell you something.
Was not playing that
Mega Millions. I will be behind home plate. I'll be behind home plate like that dude over there for WWE is the one that Frankie always tells me to look for with the I think it was a white cat in the green shirt. That'll be me for sure.
Yeah.
His name is Green Shirt Guy.
Yeah.
That'd be just like Green Shirt Guy.
Hey, but yeah, I would love to see Derrick Rose in the Bulls jersey just one more time.
To just sit on the bench?
Rob, you will see him in a Bulls jersey one more time when he signs a one-day contract to retire as Chicago Bull.
He deserves it. It's just as bad as I wanted to see Tom Brady in the Patriots jersey one more time. Just one more time.
That doesn't work with me. Okay?
I get you, Frankie.
You can't be saying stuff to me like that, all right? things like that make me tear up. I get little girls when you talk to me like that.
Hey, because I understood, man. Like, hell, I was with you, bro. I was a big Tom Brady fan. I was cheering the Patriots on. It just felt weird to say Tom Brady with the Buccaneers. It just never felt right. But to see him in the patch jersey, to get the love and the praise and the adulation from the crowd in New England, I wanted to see that one more time. He deserved it, man. He bought
Well,
that
guess what,
franchise
brother?
6 rings, baby.
Well, guess what, brother? Watch the Patriots game Week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. We are celebrating Tom Brady's honor. He
Oh,
will
I'm
be
watching.
there.
I
He
am
will
watching.
be there, and I'm hoping and praying that when he comes back, he puts on his jersey just one
I am
last
watching.
time.
I am watching. Hey, I saw somebody taking a poll on Facebook. I think it was on Jonathan Mathis' page, and it was like you can only start one. It was Tom Brady, it was Patrick Mahomes, and it was Joe Montana. Three of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. And yes, I said Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game already. He still has a lot of game left in him. But I have to say, I said this is easy to me. I said it's TB12. Didn't I give everybody the math equation that would save their lives anytime they talk about football? TB equal TDs, Lord Jesus.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Praise the Lord and ammunition.
Hey man, it's certain players you just want to see go out the right way, and
Yeah, like I would have liked to see
Jerry Jones,
Montana
and
go out.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would like to see Montana go back to San Francisco and sign that one day there as well. I felt like he should have. Man, I mean that was one hell of a football quarterback.
Hey, Tom Brady.
You guys see any? You see any other big moves being made in the NBA over free agency? Any other big guys big stars getting moved?
I do know that the Lakers are. I do know that the Lakers are exercising Jared Vanderbilt's contract, so he will be a Laker next year.
They just gave Hachimura an extension too, didn't they?
No, they not yet. Him and Austin Reeves, they have not yet gave him a contract, but right now they're basically ready to go on free agency, so like the Lakers can match any outside offer.
Oh, I will say the other big move I see is I don't think Zion Williamson will be a Pelican this year.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what comes of that as well. I mean, I still, I've heard we heard, at the deadline there were possible for Scoot Henderson out of Portland. I mean, like, do you think that still can matriculate?
I don't know. I think to go from New Orleans to Portland is like I think I see Zion trying to get it to New York to the Knicks.
That's the team I keep hearing that he wants to be at is in New York.
That's the team he wanted to go to when he got drafted.
He wants to go to New York so he can team up with RJ Barrett and those
he wants to reunite with RJ. And not to mention this Madison Square Garden. I don't care how bad the Knicks are. To be at look, dude, I got chills when I was in New York just looking at the building. Just looking. I didn't even go inside. I just looked at that to actually lay my eyes on this famous arena, the Mecca, But just being in New York, period, it gives you like it's such strong basketball tradition out there. Like just to go get a chance to put your eyes on the Rucker. And New York is known for it's the state of the point guard. You know what I mean? Like real hoopers come from New York, and just to be able to play for the Knicks and to be in Madison Square Garden and to see the stars on the sideline, to see Spike Lee there, who wouldn't want to go play there? Who wouldn't?
See, Rob likes Madison Square Garden because of basketball. I like Madison Square Garden because of wrestling. When I look at Madison Square Garden inside and out, all I can think about is the old school wrestling days of watching
Same way,
TV
Frankie.
back in Madison Square Garden. Like it gives me goosebumps. Like I'm
Saturday night main event.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're standing in a spot where like you could have witnessed the greatest Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Ric Flair, like all these great legends, man.
Andre the Giant.
That's the chills it gives me.
Iron Sheik.
Rest in peace.
Man, I haven't heard those kinds of names in a hot minute.
Oh, hey, and rest
Duggan.
Thank you.
Jim Duggan. Oh!
Hey, and rest in peace to the legend known as the Iron Sheik. Rest in peace to him.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I was when I heard that he had passed away, I was like, man, that's like old school. Oh man,
Oh, man,
I miss the likes of Dr. Death and Ted DiBiase's and.
Hey, let me tell you something. If you followed the Iron Sheik on Twitter, he was still a nut, bro. That dude, he would tweet some outrageous stuff. You'd be like, Iron Sheik is a fool, bro.
And he still hated Hulk Hogan.
They still hated Hulk Hogan. He wanted one more match. He wanted one more match. Hey, but no, I get you, Frankie. Like when I see Madison Square Garden, you know, I hear the roar of the crowd. You know, I see Michael Jordan, you know, giving him 50 in there. I see Kobe scoring 61. Like I see it. Like everybody who's a star. Dude, even when I played 2K, when I got to play the Knicks and I was at Madison Square Garden with my player, oh my God, I'm going for 70 tonight. You know, it's just when you in that building, you like to show this building my respect. I'm finna put 80 on your head top.
I also think of Reggie Miller and Spike Lee going at it.
Oh my God! Talking about when he grabbed his throat, told him they choked.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, it's something about the mecca of basketball, man. So I see Zion Williamson, you know, as Dustin alluded to, he wants to. And Dustin, I have dubbed you a new nickname. You are no longer Stat Guy. I'm just gonna simply call you Google, because you just know everything, my boy. You just know everything.
He called him Google. That's so funny because I tell him all the time, Dustin, all you're doing right now is sitting in front of a laptop looking up stats. There's no way you can know all this in your head.
Man, that's Google. So ask Dustin anything. Ask Dustin anything he know, boy. You don't ask Siri, you ask Dustin. You know, so
like, you know, I've often said that artificial intelligence has been around. We just don't know about it. And I'm telling you, Stat Guy is a governmental experiment AI robot that we just didn't know that because they snuck it in on us.
You straight up ask him a certain stat, and he'll mute himself because he's got to go into his machine mode, make the noise a little, and his little stat paper comes out of his mouth because he's like a machine that's ready to say stats.
See, most people watch sports for the entertainment side of things, which I do, but there's also a lot of other reasons why I watch sports too. I take away what people call the senseless information that they throw out there. And I just have a photographic memory where I see it once and it stays in my head. So if like an announcer mentions a random stat that no one would even think to look at, if I hear it, it stays in my head.
I think if I turn Dustin upside down, he's got a Silicon Valley tattooed on his butt with a copyright date.
That's why we love you. That's why we love you. We don't
have a photographic memory. Oh, God, that would be awesome.
Hey, I mean, we got to get Dustin. We got to get Dustin that shirt for his birthday. Don't ask Siri, and on the back it says, "Ask Dustin."
You guys think James Harden will be back in Philadelphia?
Oh no, they say he might want to go team with LeBron.
He wants to go back to Houston.
He's going back to Houston.
He's not going to Houston. He ain't going to Houston. We ain't bringing his ass back.
Oh yeah, because you have a say so, right? You're part of ownership in the Houston organization.
I have my ways. I've talked to people.
If you heard Harden's comments, he makes it sound like he feels bad for the way he treated Houston upon his exit, and he kind of feels like he owes them some sort of an apology by coming back and leaving the right way if he has to ever leave again.
Man, if
that's the case, hey, James Harden, listen, the city of Houston says, just if you want to give us an apology, just do it from Philadelphia. You ain't got to come.
Hey, no, James Harden ain't stupid. He see that young core group and them young boys, all they need is some leadership and some guidance. And I think Harden feels like, man, I could go run the court with these young boys. We can go have us a ball. Like, if Houston didn't have all that young talent there, I don't think Harden would want to go back.
But let me ask you that, though, Rob. I mean, you talk about leadership. Do you really think that Harden's a leader? I mean, we didn't get anywhere we had to go until Chris Paul, which was actually the leader of that team. And James just did what James did, right? I mean, I don't think he's the leader that we need.
No, Jay, I just want you to understand. I didn't say he's a leader. I'm telling you what he's thinking.
Oh, I got you.
He thinks he's a leader. Do I think James Harden is a leader? Hell no.
Well, I'm still so upset, man. When Chris Paul went down, I thought we were gonna beat the Warriors. Oh god, my heart broke when he went off the court. My heart broke. I was like, yep, there he goes.
Dude, I'm still you talking about that. He gave us recent footage. Like, dude, you got Joel Embiid, bro. And you're not even shooting the ball. You're
Right.
not even looking to get your own shot off, dude. There is no way in hell that I see my star player going, not having a great game and me being the second star on this team. If you can't give him 30, I'm going to go give him 40 then. We're going to win this.
Oh, right. Well, now Klay Thompson said it's going to be weird to play with Chris Paul because of all the battles. Steph Curry's like, I think he thinks it's going to be weird, but they all think it's going to be great. I mean, how do you see Chris Paul, fitting in with this team? And do you think that makes them a legitimate back to where they were?
No. I think Chris Paul can fit in wherever he goes because Chris Paul is such a great leader. He knows when he needs to step up, and he knows when he can sit back and chill.
He's such a great leader with all those championship rings, isn't he?
Hey,
that wasn't his fault.
I get Chris Paul don't have a ring, but there's no way in hell you can't argue me up and down that this man is not an outstanding leader. Yeah, he has bad injury luck, and up until recently, he didn't really play with nobody. But if all I have to do is say 3 letters, OKC. And that
anybody can do it for
that
OKC.
shows you how great of a leader Chris Paul was. Everybody thought he was going to the Thunder to physically let his career die. They was like, okay, Chris Paul is going to retire from OKC. They're putting him in OKC because he don't got it no more. And this man led a group of young boys to the playoffs to being 4th in the Western Conference. I don't want to hear about Chris Paul's lack of leadership.
And even with the Suns. What was the Suns doing before he got there? They had Booker and him, but they wouldn't go into the playoffs or anything until Chris Paul got there.
If I recall correctly, they won 8 games in a row in the bubble and still didn't make the playoffs until Chris Paul got there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't put that all on Chris Paul. I mean, he's gone into situations that were bad and made him great. He's gone into situations that were good and made them better. I mean, but again, it takes a whole damn team to win that ring. And, he can do only so much. It still takes the other guys to do what they need to do. And unfortunately, as you know, that Phoenix Suns that they lost, they kind of didn't – when they got to that final series, they weren't playing like they should have been playing. That wasn't all Chris.
Yeah, if the Warriors can get a great big man, and not even a great big man, just go get a good one. If they can go get a good big man or somebody that's 6'9", up to 7 feet, that can play with Kevon Looney, that can play with Draymond, I think the Warriors will be back in the championship picture. But having Chris Paul there doesn't hurt.
I don't think Draymond's back.
Oh, Draymond ain't going nowhere.
Then you better hope to God that him and Curry can rectify whatever Curry said in his press conference in February, because I will send you that link. And if you hear Curry's press conference, you better hope to God Draymond Green don't come back. Because
really?
Stephen Curry flat out told the front office after a game in March when Draymond Green got ejected and ended up games, he basically told the front office, it's like, for us to get back to where we want to be, it's either me or Green. Make your decision.
Draymond will be back and they'll be A-okay. He was just saying
because I wonder if that was Steph Curry just in a heated moment, because we all get heated sometimes and say that kind of stuff, and things kind of get worked out behind the scenes, Because
if you recall, after February, he checked Jordan Poole for not giving Draymond respect. When Draymond was trying to talk to him on the sideline, we've never seen Steph Curry do that in the game. He made it his business to go check Jordan Poole and say, don't act like you didn't see Draymond trying to talk to you. So yeah, we say things when we get in the heat of the moment. Yeah, we get pissed because Draymond is like, dude, you've been in the league long enough to know control your damn emotions, bro. You can't keep getting kicked out of games. I need you.
I think Chris Paul was just being brought in to basically be the new version of Andre Iguodala. Obviously not from like a defensive things, because Andre Iguodala was one of the best NBA defenders during his time, but Iguodala was one of those guys that was kind of nearing the end of his career, didn't have an NBA title. They brought him into Golden State because of his veteran leadership and just kind of that veteran presence he brought to the locker room. And then all of a sudden, Golden State was winning rings with him. And I think that's similar to Chris Paul. He's not the player that he was, obviously.
Right.
I think
he
Chris
can start
Paul
in this
is
league out
probably-
there.
Yeah,
I don't think he cares if he starts or comes off the bench anymore, but I think he's literally being brought to Golden State to be the new Andre Iguodala, basically.
Right.
To have that veteran presence on the bench, to have that veteran presence, just basically give the team something they haven't had in a couple of years.
I mean, that's all it really is. That's all it really is. It's just leadership and being able to facilitate the ball. You don't have to be the scorer. They got plenty of that. You just got to be able to facilitate and give that, like you said, that veteran leadership. You're right. I think he can. I think he can actually be that Andre Iguodala effect.
And not turn the ball over because Jordan Poole was a walking turnover.
Yeah, and I think
that's true too.
if you look at Steph Curry's game, to me, honestly, Steph Curry, even though he can do it from all sides of the basketball, but he's a better off the ball player because of the way he can run off those screens. So now you bring in a facilitator like Chris Paul that has no problem with being a pass first guy. And
Right.
now you can maximize Steph Curry at his efforts and not put so much pressure on him to be the scorer, the facilitator, the shooter. You know, it was a lot of pressure on Steph Curry last
And
year.
what does that mean for Thompson now? I mean, will that help Thompson's game out? Maybe Chris Paul can help Thompson, resurrect where he needs to go, because he was everybody would Klay Thompson, man, before them injuries, that dude was a dead accurate 3-ball shooter all the time. And then it seems like he came back from those injuries, and he just hasn't looked. He's like a shell of himself. I wonder if Chris Paul can get into him a little bit and get him back to where, maybe even close to where he was prior to the injuries.
I just want Klay Thompson in the gym shooting right now. As we do this show, as we do the afternoon blitz, he should be in the gym shooting shots.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the great ones, that's what the great ones do, though, Rob. The great ones are continuously working on their game, trying to improve.
Yes, Lord.
I think Kobe, Michael, those were guys that were, examples of that. Gym rats all the time.
Yeah, it'll never be another Kobe, man. Rest in peace to my boy.
Oh, there'll never be another Kobe. I just want to see guys try to emulate what he was doing. I mean, they'll never duplicate, but if they can just emulate his work ethic, his practice, and his desire to be better than what he was yesterday, if they can just get that attitude, hell, I'd take that. I hope that somehow or another that mentality will infect the Rockets. I hope Udoka can bring that over there to them.
Let's hope. You saw what he did with
I hope every day.
You saw what he did with Boston, right?
As long as Houston has a bring your wife to work day, Udoka will be.
Hey, see, there you go. Listen. It was one time. Damn, that was repeated several times. Leave it alone.
All right, my brothers, it's been fun. Let me get my butt back to work.
Yeah, go be productive. Make some money.
Yes, Lord. All right.
All right, Bubba. Well, Chris, you want to get us out of here with some final thoughts? Okay, I'm going to take over the show. I think Chris is on hiatus. Hey, Dustin, let's get us some final thoughts, because apparently I got to go clean this house, man. What's your final thoughts, brother?
Final thoughts are NHL draft is tonight. And for you, if you want to get into hockey, glue your ass to the couch and actually watch the first round tonight and actually watch some of this draft tonight. So when you are talking about hockey in the future, you at least have some knowledge on some of these players not named Connor Bedard.
Thank you, and I will do that. Hey, I'm learning. This is only my second season. Give me a break. I'm just getting into the sport.
Well, my bad.
They come out guns a-blazing.
I had a mouthful of food when you said Gonzo, get us out of here. I had a mouthful of food. And I was chewing, so
I was looking for the BRB.
No, I was eating me some lunch.
Ain't nothing wrong with eating some lunch. Hey, listen. Hey, we're all human beings. If we don't feed our bodies, we're going to crash. So I'm kind of hungry my damn self.
Well, hey, I didn't know my dad was going. I didn't know mom and dad was going to bring me some food. all of a sudden Dad walks in here with some Qdoba, and I'm like, oh, I gotta eat that while it's hot. Can't let that sit.
Yeah. Hey, listen, when they come in with the food, I don't blame you, man. I'm the first one running. Hey, I just want to say my final thoughts are tune in to our show Thursday for Unscripted. We're going to start off our new format where we're doing a segment called Closer to Home, and it's going to be each analyst will talk about their baseball team, football team, basketball team, whatever time period we're in at the time. And we're going to start doing little 10-minute mini clips on our teams just to kind of give you guys our perspective on where our teams are. So check us out. That starts Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Man, as always a pleasure to be on with Gonzo and Stat Guy and Rob Scott and Frankie. Mike Hughes for that one little blurb of life that he gave us. Good stuff, man. Thank you for all the comments.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody in the comments section. Also, don't join us here in about 15, 20 minutes or so for Easy Money, a sports betting show. We'll go over today's slate of baseball games and who knows what else we'll end up talking about. Let's see. And hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all at the ASAP Sports Network and at Gonzo Sports Room as well. We'd greatly appreciate it. And one more thing before we get out of here. Billy, it's pitcher.
Catcher. I don't give a damn what Gonzo says.
Hope everybody enjoyed the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Have a good day.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.